At Pinnacle Wraps, we proudly offer top-tier liveries that showcase your unique style on the racetrack. Elevate your iRacing experience today with a stunning custom design that truly represents who you are and your passion for racing.
A brand new year is upon us, but where 1 year is kicking off, 1 year is getting set to end. It's the final race of the regular series season here for the Zero Torque Racing League Cup Series at Talladega Superspeedway. Welcome one and all to 2026 on Greenflight TV. My name is Oliver Ramble alongside Lucas Moody, bringing you all the racing action from start to finish here this afternoon from the final race of the regular series season before we reset for the round of 16 of the playoffs, kicking off just 1 week from tonight. Lucas, this race is getting set to be an exciting one here this afternoon, and it's Talladega, right? It was one of the last races we had here in 2025, so what better way to pick up right where we left off?
Oh yeah, we had 42 entries for the season so far, and tonight is the final race to punch your ticket into the top 16, into that playoff positions where everybody wants to be. Here is the current standings. As you can see, 5 drivers have got themselves a win this season, that being Ivy, Tester, Stewart, Wright, and Molinari. Everybody Matthews on backward are mathematically locked into the playoffs as well. Longworth, Ivy, Chavez, they're not technically mathematically locked in, but with the 17, 32, and 42 point gap, they are pretty safe. The drivers that have to worry, Chris Mackey, Chris Gaxel, Wayne Graves, Austin Guerrero, those are your 4 guys right around the cutoff line. Those are going to be the guys driving for the most. And everybody behind Hogden and Longworth, they are essentially in must-win situations now.
It's going to be a devastating blow to several drivers that have been fighting for so long throughout 2025 to try and get to this point, but hey, at the end of the day, it is the ultimate wildcard track, and there's no better place to close out the regular series season than here. Then, of course, next week, the round of 16 kicks off at a short track, one of the last short track races of the season at the Iowa Speedway for 140 laps. The Nashville Superspeedway and the Pocono Raceway will be the final 2 races in the round of 16 before we reset at Daytona for the round of 12 in the last race of January. So all of this with plenty of racing action still yet to be had here as well over the course of the afternoon. TJ Ivey, of course, winning the last race of the year for 2025 down at Watkins Glen International, and what was an absolute thriller of a race. And who knows who could be winning this one here this afternoon. It's one of those races, Lucas, where I never bother predicting who's going to end up on top because it's a crapshoot at the end of the day.
For Talladega, I always joke to pick my driver of the day, my prediction of who's going to win. I'm going to put all the drivers in a wheel and just spin it. And whichever driver that wheel lands on, that's the driver I'm going to predict, because Talladega is a toss-up, and that's why it's so cool. It's going to be the closer of our regular season, because for any of the drivers that have had a bad season and not able to get themselves the points they need, this is their time to shine and prove they belong in the playoffs. A win and you're in, no matter how many points you're on.
Well, don't forget, there's also the factor of the win and you're in system. If you get a driver that's 19 points out, like Samuel Longworth, able to win tonight's race, he locked himself into that final spot as well. So that's another critical thing to keep an eye out for tonight. There could be a lot of underdogs that are desperate to make a lot of moves here this afternoon, especially in that third and final stage.
Yeah, and of course, with it being Dega, surprise winners happen often and probably will happen most of the time. Especially coming to think of it, you only have 5 winners from the regular season so far. The new winner is so probable at a track like Talladega. We just have to consider as a possibility because there's like a 90% chance of a new winner here tonight. The track conditions looking very good. Nice cool track at 82 degrees Fahrenheit. The wind, there's a lot of wind blowing westwards, but at a track like Dega Superspeedway where you're flat out for a lot of it, that doesn't even matter that much.
course, drivers are going to have to keep a big eye out on that one. They're going to be getting quite the tailwind coming down that back straightaway there and into turn 3. So something to keep an eye out for indeed. But all of that said and done, the field is set and ready to rumble here this afternoon as you've got yourself over 25 cars ready to do battle for the last race of the regular series season here at Talladega. Starting on pole position this afternoon, it's going to be Jonathan Dominics with the Keystone Motorsports Group. He is alongside Jamin Bernhardt. From there, road 2 on the grid, it's going to be Douglas Ivy Racing Incorporated with the Exalted number 33 Camaro. He is alongside Stephen Blevins' Skyline number 51 in his Ford Mustang. Back row 3 of the grid, you got yourself Aaron Long from Tier 1 Motorsports. He is alongside the Happy Hour number 69 of Justin Day. Moving on down through the order, then row 4, it's Ted Gamble. He is alongside Joshua Siegfried. Siegfried has had quite a few issues over the course of the season, and he is hoping for more here this afternoon. Row 5 of the grid, then it's TJ Ivey headed up the back of the top 10 alongside Austin Guerrero.
And starting tonight's race in 11th is going to be Evan Stewart, who actually put it on pole last week in Watkins, if you guys remember that. And 12th, right alongside him, is Eric Morton. And then going to be starting tonight's race in 13th, it's that 57 of Austin Norris alongside that 22 of Robert Tester, your regular season champion here. And then in 15th position, it's that 10 of Chris Mackey alongside the 87 of Blake Hewlett. And in 17th and 18th position, it's going to be that 6 of Steve Linger and the 28 of Ryan Matthews. And then to wrap out your top 20, we're looking at the 12 of Adam Pogland and the 54 of Jamie Lee Dunning.
21st place on the grid, it's Dean Howard, the Doritos number 9, making one of his first stars of the season here this afternoon. Late to the party, but hey, could make a statement here in these last races of the season. Frank Schaub's Raptor number 23 Camaro starts in 22nd. Road 12, it's Dave Shively for Draft Night's race of the Pennzoil number 85 Mustang, alongside Wayne Gray is for Garage Mahal Motorsports. And row 13, Daniel Molinari for Draft Night's race alongside Akari King Wright. Back in the field, Ron Milan brings it up at 27th with Chris Gaxel. Sandbag a little bit on his qualifying efforts. He is down in 28th, and that will do it then for the grid. That is all lined up and ready to rumble. Nobody starting from pit road this afternoon, and it's a highlight as always. It's always a talk point whenever we come out here to Talladega, right? Just how tight the qualifying battles always are. Well, you got yourself the top 25 all within 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, and you mentioned no one starting from pit road, but of course, we do have the 3 championship leaders starting this race from the back. That is, of course, Robert Tester, TJ Ivey, as you're seeing on screen right now, and Jonathan Dominics as well in the 45 machine. So those 3 guys have to drop to the end due to ZTRL law.
All of this as the field makes their way out of turns 1 and 2 down the back straightaway. It's going to be a hotly contested fight here to kick off the season, right? And it is a track where we see a lot of Daytona and Talladega to kick things off, right? It's Talladega tonight and tomorrow night for the Superspeedway Blitz. But between them, we have the VSA Sports Car Championship taken to the World Center of Racing. Now, they are not racing at the 2.5-mile oval. They will be racing for 2 hours and 40 minutes around the road course for a qualifying race. It's the Roar before the 24, and that is, of course, coming up next weekend as well. So a lot of the sister plate tracks seeing a lot of use in the opening days of 2026.
Yeah, I do love these super speedways, and I cannot wait for those races. But looking to tonight, I'm looking at Jamin Bernhardt right now in that 14 car starting in second, 28 in the standings right now, Nolan. He is in a must-win situation, no doubt about it. Mathematically cannot make it his way in the top 69 points. Starting in second is a great place for him to be to win this race. What he has to do, he has to play the fuel strategy right. He's got to stay up at the front pack and bring it home in the end and stay out of all the trouble.
It's going to be a long wait here as the field makes their way out of turn 4 and down the front straightaway. The pace car makes its sharp left-hand turn into pit road. And we're happy as always that you are joining us for more racing action as we get set to get a new year underway. Jamin Bernhardt and Douglas Ivey will lead the field into the United Rentals restart zone. Time to get the party started. The 2026 calendar year is underway on Green Flag TV. Cruising along down the back straightaway, a little bit of 3 wide towards the tail of the field as the number 2 Menards machine for Quaker State getting muscled out. Douglas Ivey continues to lead the way up front. Jamin Bernhardt being pushed by Stephen Blevins up on the top side of the racetrack where you got the 42 of Aaron Longworth down on the low side of things. Powering off at turn number 4, it's going to be racing in Bernhardt and Ivey to see who leads the opening lap of the night. And as they make their way around towards that start-finish line, it looks like it's going to be Bernhardt from up top to lead lap number 1.
Yeah, and those front 4 guys are being really, really aggressive, as I believe that was the 45 of Jonathan Dominic, so just hanging back from the pack as well. A little bit of wobbly there from the 69 of Justin Day, another driver in a must-win position that had a really good qualifying effort. So watch out for the 69 to be playing very aggressive and not leave anything on the table here. But as I was saying, these top 4 guys, they're being aggressive, they're pushing each other hard. It's very early for that, but I can understand where they're coming from. They just want a little bit of a gap, just get some fresh air behind to kind of, calm their nerves, ease their senses.
Well, and this is going to kind of bring us into a big talking point in the opening laps of this race, right? And that's going to be fuel mileage. And stage 1 ending at lap 20. Fuel window around 19 to 21. Now, if you're one of these drivers that's running that, half throttle, 2/3 throttle deeper in the field, that's not so much of a problem for you. But if you're the guys of Ivy and Jamin Bernhardt, that's a huge problem. That means even if you make it around to the end of the stage, you're not going to make it back around when the caution comes out to get to pit road, because you got to lap 2 more times before that pit road opens up. So I would expect to see Ivy and Bernhardt bailing out from the lead before we get to even lap 10.
Yeah, I would 100% agree. I would not want to.
In fact, there you go. Look at that.
Now.
You see Douglas Ivey already lifting out early just to let Blevins and Bernhardt get in front. Now he can save some fuel.
That's very smart. Now he can spend this time saving fuel. And what you want to do, save fuel for 17, 18 laps even, Nolan. Then give yourself enough fuel of 2 laps of flat-out racing so you can push for the stage 1 win at the end of those 20 laps. But in these early stages, you said it perfectly, cannot be wasting our fuel when the margin is so tight.
It remains 2 lanes as they fire their way around turn numbers 1 and 2 down the Alabama Gang super stretch. Brian Matthews looking for the middle groove there. Decided to stop back in line. I think some drivers just kind of poking the nose out for a couple of reasons, right? For one, they're trying to get a sight line on what's going on in front of them, make sure there's nothing untowards happening up front that they need to be aware of, but also so they can cool the car. Car temperatures, especially the water temperature, is such a huge factor of superspeedway racing, and it's becoming an increasingly common sight to see at least one car go up in smoke every single superspeedway race because of it.
Yeah, especially if you're that second guy in line, that's who you have to watch out for, because you're right up on the nose of that lead guy, pushing, and most of the time, you're still full throttle through a lot of the track as that second car in line. And because there's no clean air running through your nose, there's nothing cooling down that engine, you can really easily overheat your oil, overheat your water, as Nolan was saying, and actually blow up that engine. If that water starts boiling. So watch out for those second cars in line. As you see, Austin Guerrero on the top is pushing Justin Day a lot right now. But after about a lap and a half of doing that, he has to back off, get some clean air, and just get off the throttle and cool down his engine.
One driver in particular, Jonathan Dominic's having problems here early on. Lost the draft early on and is already, we're talking 16 seconds just off of Joshua Siegfried, the next car up the road from him, and almost 20 seconds now off of the leader. So Dominic's day has gotten off to a horrible start. The one saving grace for him so far is he is safely locked into the playoffs on points alone, 179 points above the cut line. So he's not having to worry too much today, but still, it's got to be rough having to maintain that focus when you're running single file all by yourself.
Yeah, running single file to Superspeedway is super boring. You're just turning laps by yourself, full throttle, no braking, minimal turning at most. And yeah, remember, he was one of the guys that started in the back of this race, so either he purposely backed off at race start, or he just got caught up in something, got a little bit loose, and just lost the draft. And once you lose the draft at Talladega, there is no coming back until hits, a caution, or something happens. Most likely a caution, I will say. But yeah, the 45, he's going to have a rough time now, just turning laps and waiting for the stage to end or waiting for these guys to wreck each other.
As we take the laps away, we're already only 3.5 laps away from halfway home in stage number 1. The question of the big one becomes an ever-increasing factor as well. You know what the old adage is, right? It's never a matter of if. It's barely even a matter of when. It's more a matter of how many times are you getting it here. Now, what do you think, Luke? Do you think we make it to the end of stage 1 without a big one here, or are we get one before we get to lap 20?
I'll tell you what, as they're racing right now, they're doing a really good job of staying in their lines, keeping a good gap in between that top line and the bottom line, and no 3-wide action yet so far either. And of course that makes sense. We're still within the first 10 laps of a 90-lap race. I would not expect any 3-wide action just yet, and I would like to see, and I'm going to predict, that will continue for the entirety of the first stage, just because it is Talladega. It is a 90-lap race. You cannot win a race in the first 20 laps, but you definitely can't lose it. I will definitely not expect anybody to be risking their playoff berth in the first 20 laps of a 90-lap race. I think we're saying green to the end of stage 1.
Justin Day and Austin Guerrero jumping down in front of Jamin Bernhardt. In fact, Bernhardt jumping up to the outside line now. Bernhardt wants to go to the front, not looking to save any fuel here. I think that 14 car might be looking to make a pit stop here before the end of stage number 1, because he is moving up top.
Yeah, and remember the 14, my driver pick of the day. He's got to play aggressive. It's win or bust, Nolan. A second place does nothing for him. It does actually nothing for him in the playoff standings. He can only finish this race in one position to make the playoffs, and that is that top spot on the win. So it makes sense that Bernhardt's being aggressive. I just hope he doesn't show too much aggression and actually wreck himself before he's able to check himself.
Jamin Bernhardt gets clear, immediately abandons Blake Hewlett, and then jumps down in front of Justin Day, and then back up to the high side, but that's going to lead to a lot of indecision. You see both lanes start to check out because of that. You cannot have that type of indecision between two lanes. You got to pick a lane. You need to make that move decisively. That hovering around in the middle of two lanes like that, that is what causes big wrecks at Talladega.
Yeah, 100%, because you want to go one lane, and then you try to go back up to the top one. The lane you were just at, you think it's clear. All of a sudden, a car above you has your quarter panel. You go to switch the lanes, and you just turn yourself into the wall. He's got to be careful in being that aggressive, and you're right. Indecision is so brutal here. Because if you don't know what you're doing, then the cars around you definitely don't know what you're doing. And if you're not being, if you're not being decisive enough to where the cars around you know what you're doing and can predict your moves, that's where the accidents happen. Because no one's trying to wreck you out. It just so happens that if someone doesn't know what you're doing, they're going to have a hard time trying to actually avoid wrecking you. As the top four getting a little out of shape here, as that gap between Day and Bernhardt is getting pretty big.
Already halfway home through stage number 1. 10 down, 10 to go. It'll be 9 to the line. Look out, Guerrero almost got shuffled out of line into the third lane by Blake Hewlett. He decides, nope, not having that. Chops down to the inside and links up with Bernhardt. But again, Jamin Bernhardt up top. Blake Hewlett doesn't want to work with him, though. Went up high, trying to avoid turning him. And Bernhardt's going to force the issue, trying to chop back down across the nose. Bernhardt is trying to win stage 1 here aggressively.
So aggressive. It's so aggressive, Nolan, for lap 12 of a 90-lap race, let me remind you. I didn't think we'd see this kind of aggression, and I used that to predict we're not getting a caution in stage 1. If this keeps up, if Bernhardt keeps being a menace as he's being right now, I might have to take my prediction back and actually predict we are getting a caution, because this is some wild stuff. I mean, all clean. To be fair, he's done all these moves cleanly and kept the lead off of it. So whatever he's doing, it's working. It's just, in my mind, it's so aggressive.
Well, keep in mind, Austin Guerrero and Justin Day, those are two teammates that are running behind him. And Bernhardt, not a teammate among these guys, right? So the problem with making those types of moves, especially this early on, is you play your hand a little bit too aggressively. now, now that drivers see how aggressively he's willing to go for the spots and how he's not willing to work with anybody else, you think anybody's going to want to work with him later on in the race? Probably not.
Yeah, it's that old saying of co-opetition, is you're competing with these drivers, but at the same time, you need some of them on your team to push you to the win at the end of the race. And if they don't like how Bernhardt's driving right now, you're right. They simply won't link up with him later on and might leave him out to dry later on. And, oh!
Oy.
As the 6 is getting pushed heavily by the 81, or 3 wide behind Nolan. That is scary stuff.
Yeah, it got a little bit dicey there with Steven Linger, who just managed to chop to the middle. You saw Chris Mackey and Jamie Lee Dunning trying to open up a third lane up there. It hasn't really worked out for them so far. But right now, Bernhardt is having a hard time keeping that lead, and he's not going to be able to hold it now. Austin Guerrero gets in front of him. Now Blake Hewlett is going to shut down any attempts of Bernhardt to get to that other line here, as Bernhardt is firmly locked in behind the 24. He's going to try to push him clear, though, and then I'd imagine, get to the outside the second he hears the call of clear high.
Yeah, but with how much Bernhardt has been leading the pack so far this first stage, he wants to be sitting in second or third and just taking a little bit of time to feel safe. So I know he wants to be aggressive and work his way up to the front, but I think what's best for him at the moment is just to sit here behind Austin Guerrero and hit your fuel number, so by the time this first stage ends, you are able to be aggressive. You do have enough fuel to make it to the end of the stint, as we're still 3 wide. Chris Mackey, Jamie Lee Dunning completely abandoned up top, and they're going to lose some positions off of that.
Yeah, these guys are going to make some ground down the back straightaway, but then you get to the front straightaway in the tri-oval, and they lose all of that momentum. So try as they may, they are unable to open up that third line up top. And critically, here is Jonathan Dominics, the first car who will go one lap down, 5 laps away from the end of the stage.
Yeah, so he's just going to do the right thing. He's going to stay high, get out of everybody's way. No need to be doing any dumb shenanigans. He's locked into the playoffs by far. Doesn't want to make any enemies on that 90-lap race. So he's going to do the smart thing. He's going to take his lap down on the cheek. And, by the time the stage 1 caution comes out, Nolan, he'll get the lucky dog and get right back up to the tail end of the pack like nothing ever happened. So it does suck driving up there all by your lonesome. But at the end of the day, he's not going to lose too much, as he already did start from the back of this pack. Austin Guerrero now takes the lead of this race. Remember, he is 5 off the cut line. He's currently in 18th position. He does not need a win. It would definitely secure him in the playoffs. All he has to do is beat Gaxel by 5 positions.
Oh boy.
Or beat Graves by 3. As, oh my gosh, Akari King right looking for the middle of 3.
So is Stephen Blevins. They both push Bernhardt and Blake Hewlett up out of line, and that is how you be assertive at a super speedway. Bernhardt and Hewlett didn't see it coming. Now Hewlett abandons Bernhardt, and all of a sudden, Bernhardt's misdeeds at the front of playing too aggressively come back to bite him, as no one is letting that 14 car get back in line. And all of a sudden, he goes from being one of the dominant cars of the stage to being another driver in the middle of the pack and unable to fight his way to the front.
Yeah, that just might be his playoff hopes just falling away there. As you're up in the top 5 of the pack, that's where you want to be to race for the win. But now he's dropped all the way down to 25th, Nolan. How the mighty have fallen. He's got a lot of work to do now to make his way back up. But Akari King Wright, great job getting up here now. He's in the top 6, still sporting that 21 Pilots paint scheme that I loved so much a couple weeks ago at Watkins Glen. The field now headed by Douglas Ivey, Austin Guerrero, 2 drivers who are on that playoff battle. Douglas Ivey, 32 above the cut line. Guerrero, 5 below it, like I said earlier.
Well, this fight showing no signs of slowing down anytime soon, and you have to wonder, right? I mean, how much longer until these guys really start to fall apart? Got a lot more 3 wide at the tail end, as Douglas Ivey, the winner from last week, tries to power his way through to the front, winner from a few weeks ago, trying to power to the front. Pushed by Blake Hewlett and Akari King right on top. They are 3 by 3 wide, though, deeper in the field. This can't work for long.
It's just chaos now. Frank Chavez trying to work with the 07. They are single file up at front. The 33 all the way back to the 24 have cleared that outside line, but that gives a lot of room now for Blake Hewlett and the guys behind to work with and see if they can get a slingshot as these laps tick on, and maybe by the end of lap 20, they can actually get side by side with Ivy once again and fight for that stage 1 win. But Blevins, you can see it. He's so aggressive on that backside of Ivy. He's doing a great job of pushing him as Matthews and Mackey trying to make 3 wide happen further down in the pack.
2 laps to go, more like a lap and a half to go now. A caution now would put a premature end to the stage. Critically, lucky dog driver Jonathan Dominus is in the pack here, so if a big crash happens, Dominus has got to be careful that he doesn't get caught up in it or he loses his lucky dog free pass, and he's trapped a lap down throughout all of stage number 2. Douglas Ivy continues to lead the way. White flag in stage 1, this time by.
Oh, here we go, another 3 wide run from the guys behind. I believe that's still Mackey there, working with, I believe, Wayne Graves. As actually they have a massive slingshot, Nolan. They made up a lot of places there. And I wonder if they're going to get blocked or they're just too far back. Ivy might just have this one wrapped up.
Down the Alabama Gang super stretch for the final time in the opening stage to turn number 3. It's going to be quite the dogfight as they come around out of turn numbers 3 and 4 to the start-finish line, this time by Blevins, King Wright. Do they make the look to try and get around Douglas Ivy for the stage 1 win? Into the tri-oval. No one's going to do anything too drastic. One driver does go up top. That's Ted Gamble. It's going to be Douglas Ivy for the win. Blevins second. Then it's King Wright, Logworth, and Hoagland for the top 5 in the opening stage.
Yeah, Stewart as well finishing in 6th. Gaxel, Gamble, also phenomenal job from them getting their way up into the top 10 and earning some playoff points. But yeah, that wraps out your top 10. Of course, Frank Chavez as well, making his way in there. But yeah, great race from the guys behind. Didn't get a race for the stage 1 win. Douglas Ivy got it pretty uncontested. But good job from him nonetheless, and great job from the field to give us a cautionless first stage.
Second stage is going to be brought to a close at the end of lap 50. That is about 30 laps away. And Jonathan Dominics will be able to celebrate as he is able to guarantee himself a good, solid run into the Lucky Dog free pass. Jamin Bernhardt, though, Lucas, is out of gas, and he is going to be forced into pit road here early, and that will be disastrous for the number 14. Caution flight number 1 is out on the speedway, and we're back in a moment with more on Green Flag TV. Stay with us.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
At Pinnacle Wraps, we proudly offer top-tier liveries that showcase your unique style on the racetrack. Elevate your iRacing experience today with a stunning custom design that truly represents who you are and your passion for racing.
Yellow Flight pit stops underway. You're watching the Zero Torque Racing League and their final race of the regular series season for the Talladega Superspeedway. My name is Little Ramble alongside Lucas Moody. Caution free through stage 1, and this is the first time drivers have had a chance to get down to pit road. Jamin Bernhardt, though, a devastating mistake for him, Lucas, as he is into the box and there for an extended period of time as a result. of running out of fuel at the end of stage number 1, and he's still in the car, so he's showing intentions on getting back out there, but not ideal for the number 14.
Yeah, and as long as he's able to hang on to that lead lap, he does still have a shot at winning this race. So as long as he doesn't drop a lap from all of this conundrum, all of this chaos that's happening around him, he's still in contention to make this top 16 to get himself into the playoffs. Akari King Wright coming out on top of all these pit stops. He's going to be the one leading us to points for this second stage. And I'm very curious how drivers took this stop, because personally, Nolan, I wouldn't take any tires throughout this entire race at all. I don't know what your thoughts on that are, though.
Well, apparently, your opinions don't match what several of the other drivers have done, right? Because we got Stephen Blevins has taken 2, Ted Gamble has taken 2, Adam Hoagland and Evan Stewart have both taken 4. They now run in 10th and 11th. Dean Howard with 2, Blake Hewlett with 4, Molinari with 2, Graves with 4. It's really a split decision. About half the field is taking fuel only. The other half is divided between 4 or 2 tires. And if you do take tires, you usually see them taking them on the left side instead of the right sides here.
That is so interesting to hear. I guess the iRacing tire model has just been changed drastically since my last big Superspeedway experience, because I remember just the last times I've done Daytona, you could do an entire 500 on the same set of tires, and at the end of the race, they're at 95%. So I guess that tire model has been improved by iRacing, and got to take some lefts, I guess, coming through those pit stops.
Well, and let's be a bit clear here, right? Tire wear, unlike at most tracks, does not impact lap time a lot here. We're talking, you know, hundredths of a second, like negligible amounts. What it really helps with is car control, especially in dirty air, which is something that is vital at these tracks, which is why you see the top 3 are all on fuel only.
Yeah, exactly. Fresher tires around here marginally improves your lap time, but you're 100% right. It helps you keep 4 wheels pointed in the correct way better. I don't know why I said it so weird. It helps keep your car under you. You know, you go for an aggressive move, you're on old tires, you're in dirty air, you might actually lose the car, get up into the wall, but those fresher tires, it does slightly allow you a little bit more maneuverability, a little more car control, as you put it as well. I still don't too much see the point in taking 4 tires. I think 2 is fine. As Jonathan Dominic's in the box, I think he has to make a late pit stop because he had to stay out the initial time to get his lucky dog.
Well, and that car is unfortunately done, as he is out of that car and is back in the paddock area. So Jonathan Dominic seems like he is going to be our first driver out. But again, he was already locked in on points, so it's not like he's got to worry too much about it.
Yeah, he is perfectly fine. As you mentioned earlier, Nolan, 179 is a mathematically impossible number to reach at this point. It was mathematically impossible 2 or 3 weeks ago, I believe. So that 45 machine, even though he doesn't have a lane, he is okay in the playoffs, definitely. But some drivers that aren't okay. Douglas Ivey, he's 32 above the cut line, so he's pretty safe, but still has to ensure a good result here to not drop below that line. Let's see, who else we got? Stephen Blevins is completely safe, but Chris Gaxel, that's going to be the driver to watch. He's only 3 above the cut line here, Nolan. It's that 707 machine. He still has to finish well.
Coming around turn number, I guess you could call it turn 5 if you want to count the tribal as a turn, but the green flag is back in the air. And Akari King Wright leads the field into turn number 1. He's got quite a gap. That leaves him vulnerable in the backstretch.
Yeah, he's going to have to block high here as Douglas Ivey's looking for a move around the outside. Aaron Longworth now has some clean air down the inside, and yeah, Ivey not going to go for the move. He is just going to file in behind King Wright. That does leave Aaron Longworth in that prime spot, that prime inside line in the lead there.
Couple of cars kind of ducking it out towards the tail of the field. Jonathan Dominic, by the way, is rejoining the racetrack. Now 2 laps down. Bernhardt 1 lap down, so a bit of work to do, but he is not out of the fight yet. Aaron Longworth shuffled out of line, and he's going to be caught in the sucker hole. Maybe no, as Chris Gaxel lets him back into line.
Wow, already chaos on lap 25 here. Just 2 laps into the second stage. Drivers are already getting a little bit antsy. And as you can see, stage 2 does end on lap 50. We have 24 laps to go, and green flag pit stop, provided no cautions, will be a must here. And I love seeing green flag pit stops at super speedways, because if the drivers are able to do it correctly, it just looks like culture in motion, and it looks so fluid.
It is one of the most difficult tasks when you get down on the pit road at Daytona or Talladega. The challenge does not come in getting slowed down from 188, 190, 200 miles an hour into pit road down to just 55. That's hard enough as it is. The big challenge comes with avoiding everybody else coming in around doing the same thing, because nobody pits alone at a super speedway. We're going 3 wide into the back.
Oh my gosh, it's so aggressive already. Jamie Lee Dunning in the 54, leading that inside line top of 3. He is another one of the drivers, 160 points clear of the cutoff line, so he is in the playoffs. Doesn't have too much to race for, that doesn't have a lot of pressure as some of these other drivers do, but still want to get antsy as whoa! A big 3 at one time. King Wright, Ivy, and Blevins all dropped the inside line in one single motion. Good job from them linking that up and taking the 1-2-3 away.
All 3 of those drivers are teammates, remember. All of them racing under the Ivy Racing Incorporated banner. And that is what teamwork can do for you at Talladega. All of them in one voice channel, all of them communicating with one another. That was absolutely coordinated. They were probably just waiting for Blevins to say, clear, go now.
Yeah, and now look at this. They have so much clear space. It's not 6 cars before there's the first car in the outside line. These 3 now can just drive their own race, control the pace of the field, and if they want to, they can play some teammate games where you have 2 guys at the front. Neither one actually gets ahead of the other. They're both sandbagging a little bit, and if you have 2 teammates just leading the race, one on the inside, one on the outside the entire time, you can just keep it and nobody can do anything about it. It works very similar like an IndyCar around Las Vegas or Kentucky. Those bigger tracks in the IndyCar works very similar around super speedways here.
Up top is Jamie Lee Dunning, still managing that 3rd groove along with the 28 of Brian Matthews and Chris Mackey. But hold on, as they try to merge in with the bottom lane, but they were not clear. And now you can see drivers starting to get squeezed into that middle groove. This is where it gets dicey. But gradually they're going to filter each other out and merge back into 2 lanes. That got a little bit hairy, though, and that is what we call forcing the issue.
Yeah, and Aaron Longworth as well trying to force an issue. He is now done with Ivy Racing Incorporated's games. He's trying to make a move for the outside. King Wright goes for an amazing block, able to drop back down to the inside line in front of his teammate, but Longworth is not done. He is not happy with 2nd. He's going to see if he can push his way to the points with that help of Austin Norris, who, once again, another driver in a must-win position here. Not only him, but Justin Day right behind him in that 69 machine. Watch those 2 guys to become really antsy here, because once again, it's win or bust.
Longworth and Norris up to the outside. Oh, a little bit dicey there between the 2. Akari King Wright down to the inside as this is getting a little bit dicey for my taste here. A third of the way through, 30 down, 60 to go, and 20 to go in stage 2. You pit now, you can go the distance.
Yeah, but like you said earlier, you have to be pitting with other drivers. You do not want to pit by your lonesome in a super speedway. You'll have no draft and just bleed time to the guys around you. As once again, Jonathan Dominic's coming up in view, except this time he's 2 laps down and not on the lead lap. So gotta watch out for that 45 car, as I could imagine how boring it's becoming for him at this point in the race, having to turn that many laps by yourself. Cannot be fun. Probably just has music blasting, listening to whatever he wants. Hopefully 21 Pilots has a Akari King right now that I would agree on. But that 45 machine not having the best of days.
Akari King right. Maintaining momentum up front. Douglas Ivy still running in that second spot. And Stephen Blevins brings up the rear of the Ivy Racing Inc. 1, 2, 3. So this is where it's going to get a little bit dicey. And there you see Jonathan Dominic's about to go down a third lap.
Yeah, so once again, rough day for Dominic's there, but once again, now focusing on the main pack, I should say, they have gotten out of that 3 wide. They are now double filed here, 2x2x2, all the way back to the pack. And as you can see, Frank Chavez now on that inside line. He is a driver 17 points clear of the cut line, so not in a must-win situation. Matter of fact, he is safe at the moment, but he does have to be careful because a bad race from him and a really good race from the guys behind could just lose him that playoff seat, although 17 points is a lot. So do expect to be seeing him in the top 16. There's more Chris Mackey and Chris Axel. Those are the drivers who are really going to be struggling for their playoff work here, as they're only 9 and 3 above the cut line. And then once again, Wayne Graves, Austin Guerrero, they are 3 and 5 below the cut line. So those guys have even more to play for here, as really going to keep an eye on the 07 and the 24, because they're 17th and 18th in the standings right now.
On board with Adam Hoagland, and this is what it looks like from inside the car at 190 plus miles an hour around the Talladega Superspeedway. Not a fun place to be if you're Adam Hoagland. You see all of this jerking around in these lines. There you see the 57 car out the driver's side window. Adam Hoagland got shuffled out of the line, and he is now fading to the back. Sorry, that's Austin Norris fading to the back.
Yeah, he just got shuffled out, and now he's leading this middle pack, but this middle pack doesn't have any momentum, Nolan. Look at these guys around the outside. They're just going to clear him completely. Adam Hoagland's going to be the first one to move down. Justin Day now leading that high side line. So we got Day, Hoagland, Akari King right. Those are your 3 leaders of these lines. But for Day and for Hoagland, they're so far behind that one machine.
With Brian Matthews, oh, look out for the 91, drifting up the racetrack a little bit. That's Ron Malam down on the inside line. And there you see TJ Ivy up top, the winner from Watkins Glen almost a month ago. And all around, nowhere to run if something goes wrong with Brian Matthews.
Yeah, completely surrounded by cars, north, east, and west. Nowhere to go, just has to hope and pray that nothing bad happens going on around him. We're still 3 wide here. So, and these guys are not letting up at all as Tester now makes an aggressive move to the inside line. He's just kind of chilling back there, kind of sitting, waiting for his time to pounce, waiting for the big one as well. Because remember, Tester is so far into the playoffs right now, he does not have to worry about this race in the slightest. But here we go, Adam Hoagland now clawed his way up to Akari King right. Now only 2 cars back from him. We might start getting a battle for the lead here soon.
3 by 3 by 3 by 3 wide as they make their way down the Alabama Gang super stretch. Still 15 laps to go in stage 2. Only 10 to go before we reach the halfway point in this race, and only about 5 laps away from green flag pit stops here. So the fact that these drivers are 3 by 3 wide like this is making me real nervous, because this is around the time where you should be starting to see drivers getting more single file in preparation for the pit stop window.
It's making you nervous, but it's making me excited. I am so excited to see how these guys, figure themselves out here. Sort this pit stop out. It's not going to be easy at all. It's going to be very difficult, especially if you're one of the guys on the top of the racetrack here, like Justin Day, like Jamie Lee Dunning. I mean, how do you cut across 2 lanes of traffic to make your way to pit lane? It's all going to kick off soon. Do not go anywhere in about 4 to 5 laps time, as Nolan was saying.
Lap 37, hold on, look out as one car gets shoved out up top. That was Austin Guerrero that got just a little bit crossed up and thought for a moment he was about to get spun down into the field, but he's able to hold it together. Getting a bit more dicey here as we get closer and closer to the pit stop window. Drivers can only go, we're talking 4 or 5 laps tops here before they run out.
Yeah, these drivers, they just want to make up a couple more positions before they have to go down to pit lane. The one car, I believe that's Eric Morton doing the sensible thing and dropping down to that inside line, preparing himself for the pit stop. And also, this is going to be the time where drivers not only telling their teammates, hey, what lap do you want to pit on? Let's make sure we pit together. But even over the iRacing radio, if you're one of the guys that doesn't have a lot of teammates, you're going to be asking the guys around you, hey, when do you want to go? I'll go with you. Tell me a number, I'll go. Because you do not want to be left alone around Talladega or Daytona for that matter. Your race will just get ruined. You'll be completely off the pace and you'll lose any positions you've gained up. You might even lose a lap if it is so bad enough. So these guys, they have to work together, not only to get single file on the bottom line, but also to pit with each other.
Starting to get closer to double file, but that's not enough. They got to be single. One car claps the wall. Further behind, that is Eric Morrison. Down to the tail end, is going to drop to the back, but he is going to be able to get down to the inside lane as a result once he drops off of that second groove. Jamie Lee Donning now stands as the lone contender on the third lane and trying to find a hole to get down to the inside, and one of the eyes may have been Chris Mackey, is going to let him in. No one coming to pit road this time by, but that pit window is officially open.
Yeah, now their fuel tanks are shrinking.
Oh, you're kidding me, really?
Even more. As, oh my gosh, yeah, Justin Day looking for 3 wide on low fuel.
This is making me real nervous now as drivers going 3 by 3 wide again, and evidently no one giving a crap about the impending fuel window as we go to the top of 3 once more as the 69 of Justin Day jumps up to the outside line. Akari King Wright maintains run up front. Here we go. Pit stops underway.
Okay, let's see who it is. Ivy coming down pit road. King Wright gets bumped by Austin Norris. Looks like no harm, no foul.
Look at
and
Steven.
It looks like.
Look at Blevins jumping ahead of the pack here on the way in.
Yeah, he beats everyone. No black flags coming through either, so great job from the 51. Having a better jump into pit lane.
And yet, still with problems, Danny Molinari couldn't get to his box because he had Douglas Ivy side by side with him, so he had to reverse into his stall. Chris Mackey also missed the box. But that doesn't matter for them for now. They might be able to get through this.
Yeah, well, luckily for Molinari, he did win 3 weeks ago at Charlotte, so even though he doesn't have the points to be in the top 16, he is locked into the playoffs. Says, oh no, Aaron Longworth and Evans going completely alone from everybody else. A 2-lane car is quicker than 1, Nolan, but not the speed you need around Talladega.
Now, this is fine. They still have 2 of them to work with. That's the big thing here, right? They can still work with each other to keep up speed, so they're not going to really gain any time, but they're not going to lose all that much time either. This is not race ending for them. They just might not be able to get any stage points out of this. There's Akari King Wright jumping up in front of the leading pack, trying to pick up the draft here with them not having yet come down pit road.
Yeah, so I'm honestly confused at what I just saw. He went high and just dropped behind everybody. I would assume he tried to keep some position as here we go. Guerrero now coming down pit road. I believe that's Justin Day behind as well, and Steve Linger.
Linger gets it locked down before they hit the pit box. So 3 teammates all in at once. And we once again jump up front. There is the 91 car of R.J. Malam, still running strong in his number 91 body armor Mustang, trying to find some lane to jump into. He's going to squeeze in between Joshua Siegfried and Jamie Lee Dunning. Robert Tester a bend as the top lane. He jumps down low, showing that these guys may be pushing the limits of what they can do on the fuel here and are in a desperate bid to jump down into the box. Chris Gaxel stays out. Tester leads the next group in along with Dominic Lee Dunham, Malone locking up the brakes. So is Dean Howard, Siegfried, and more all make it to pit road. No problem so far, except for Jonathan Dominics, who I believe may have just struck. Oh, and we got a crash in pit road. It's Dean Howard. And he's not the only one. Jonathan Dominics got black flag for speeding on the way in, and he put his car into the wall deliberately.
Yeah, I think that's just the straw that broke the camel's back here tonight, as he is done with this race. He made that mistake, and I think he's just retiring for the night. He knows he's fine in the playoffs. He does not have to worry about it. But here we go. The last group to not pit yet. Gaxel, Gamble, Chavez, and Hogland, are just these two guys. Here we go. Gaxel and Gamble now going to be making their way down pit road.
Still more, though. Frank Chavez and Adam Hogland, along with Wayne Graves and Blake Hewlett, all still have yet to come down to pit road as well. This is Gaxel and Gamble that have come into the lane, and now Gaxel puts it into the wall.
Oh, no. That is a devastating turn of events for the 707. He is only 3 points above the cut line. He cannot be making this kind of mistake when it all is on the line here.
This is Jonathan Dominics and his pit road entry. We'll take a look at Dominics and Howard's incidents both in one. Jonathan Dominics locked it up, was speeding on the way in, and you see him just make a hard left-hand turn into the wall. Now, he did not have anything to do with Dean Howard's incident. Howard turned across the nose of Eric Morta trying to get to pit road because Howard was on his inside when Morta was trying to turn into his box.
Oh, I didn't even see there was contact. I just thought he gassed up a little too much trying to come into his box. So interesting there from Howard. Contact with Morton, and he's going to have some front-end damage off of that as well. But here we go. Last two guys to make their way into pit road. Hogland and Graves do come down pit road, as I believe they are right now. Chavez and Hewlett, have they... I forget, have they come down?
No, they have not. The top four have not come down pit road yet. Well, Hogland and Graves are in pit road, but the top two have not come down.
Okay, so Chavez and Hewlett stayed out much, much longer than everybody else. They must have been really saving fuel in the back of the pack there. And they're just going to form a two-car tandem, which it's not as quick as a four-car tandem, but about the same speed as a 5, 6, or 7 car, or a pack, as you might call it as well. But it is not a widely known fact, Nolan, that 3 or 4 cars is actually the quickest you can go around a Superspeedway.
Coming down into the box for Hewlett and Chavez. And that means that Stephen Blevins now leads the way, along with Norris, Stewart, Ivy, Longworth, Chester, and Gamble. And they should make up 1st through 7th here when they come back around to the front straightaway with 4 laps to go in stage 2.
And I'm honestly so confused, Nolan, as to what happened to Akari King Wright. He was leading this race, and now he's back in 20 seconds. I don't know if he pit super early with that first group, and that first group just kind of got screwed over a little bit. But he dropped 21 positions from that pit cycle. Definitely not what that one machine was wanting.
So the field gonna pick him up. What do you think? Do we see Austin Norris go for the stage 2 win on Stephen Blevins before the end? We didn't see him move for the stage 1 win.
I definitely think we'll see some aggression from Norris. At the end of stage 2, probably not enough aggression to, wreck himself out. He definitely has to keep it safe here. He needs to be in the fight on lap 90 to lock himself into the playoffs, because remember, Norris is in a must-win position. So I definitely think he'll go for a stage 2 victory, but he's not going to put all of his cards on the table for this. What he will do is he will put all of his cards on the table for the lap 90 win, the win of the actual race. That is what is a win or bust for him. But here, I expect to see some aggression, but nothing game rate or race ending at all. Maybe a little move to the outside, a little bit of side drafting. Shouldn't be any crazy blocks from him, because he cannot risk.
You say that.
Wow, there's a big block from Norris just as I'm... Wow, great timing there.
And that is the second pack catching up with the front runners here. Austin Norris jumps to the point. Robert Tester links up with Aaron Longworth. on that second lane. Siegfried falling in line as well. Evan Stewart, a multi-time winner this season. He's trying to power through as well for the Fish Speed number 37 Mustang down on the low side. 2 laps to go in second stage.
Yeah, Norris, he showed a lot of aggression there, put some big blocks on, and it worked very well as he keeps the lead of this race. Aaron Longworth going to be on the outside, challenging him for that position. Remember, Longworth is 42 points to the good, so technically not mathematically locked in, but it would take like the end of the world to happen essentially for him to not make it into the round of 16 at this point, as Norris fell back a lot there as the outside line just got a crazy run, Nolan. For 59 is now back, 57, excuse me, is now back in 8th place.
Guys getting a little bit dicey back here as they jockey for positions here in the final seconds of this second stage. Aaron Longworth tries to block up top. Siegfried's not having it. Looking for 3 wide for the race lead as they get to the final lap of stage number 2. Just down low, and Longworth is caught in the sucker hole. Oh, and one car going around. Look out! Siegfried sliding on the bottom side of the track. Gets dumped out of the leading group, and it's on.
Blevins now is going to inherit your lead here, and as they round turn 3 here, turn 4, can TJ Ivy put an attack on the Blevins for the stage 2 win?
Coming around 3 and 4, Aaron Longworth closing from behind. They're going to power through, coming off of turn 4. Some draft from lap cars up the road, but they are not going to be going a lap down for the end of the second stage. TJ Ivy shoving Stephen Blevins through, and Blevins with the win in stage number 2. Ivy second, then it's Guerrero, Longworth, Mackey, Norris, Day, Ivy, Tester, and Stewart for the top 10.
Yeah, great stuff from them. Of course it is Blevins and Ivy on that Ivy Racing Incorporated team, so makes sense that they stayed in line, and Ivy simply just pushed Blevins for that stage 2 win. But great job there for the 51. That's going to be an extra playoff point picked up by Blevins there for the playoff round starting next week in Iowa. So great stage 2 win from him there, and I'm excited to see what stage 3 has in store for us.
Stage 3 is just around the corner. We'll take another step back. We return more racing action on Green Flight TV from Talladega. Under 40 laps to go. We'll be back in a moment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
At Pinnacle Wraps, we proudly offer top-tier liveries that showcase your unique style on the racetrack. Elevate your iRacing experience today with a stunning custom design that truly represents who you are and your passion for racing.
Welcome back to Green Flight TV, where we are getting set to return to racing action in just a few moments. But for now, pit stops are underway here at the Talladega Superspeedway. My name is once again Nolan Ramble alongside Lucas Moody as we are gearing up for the longest stage of the night and what should be the final one, still caution-free for incidents.
Yeah, I'm going to hope it's staying caution-free, but with 40 laps to go, it's going to get antsy. People are going to be fighting for that win. more aggressively than any win they've ever fought for. So I do expect us to get some crashes here in this third stage, probably about 2 or 3, maybe even more by the time we get to 10 laps to go. Expect chaos to break through, and all of those drivers that have not locked themselves into the playoffs are all going to be fighting for the exact same spot and holding nothing back.
Well, with all this said and done, there is still plenty of racing action that is about to be had. It was a bit of a slow month of December, but it's going to be a rapid start to the season here in January, because in the coming weeks here on Green Flag TV, there's a lot to be excited about. The first of which is going to be a return to old, as the VSCA Sports Car Championship makes its long-awaited return on Green Flag TV tomorrow night at the Daytona Road Course. It's the Roar Before the 24. That will be at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, as GTP, LMV2, and GT3 machinery get set to duke it out for 2 hours and 40 minutes to see who will start where in the Daytona 24. That will be coming on up the Saturday after, on January 10th. From there, the SRA Superspeedway Blitz swings out to Talladega later on that night. Lucas here back with me for that one. Monday night sees a return to form for the High-Side Race League, who will be racing to the Kansas Speedway, kicking right off where they left off. PSR is back for more with the Mystery Track in their Winter Series. And then, of course, we're back as always with the ZTRL Race League at the Iowa Speedway this coming Friday afternoon, as we get set to kick off the round of 16 on Green Flag TV. All of this and more in the month of January. Be sure to check out everything that we can offer you today at www.greenflag.tv. Boy, Lucas, this one set to be a wild ride, as we are moments away from going back to Green Flag Racing. One pit stop is all that's going to be needed around the halfway point in this final stage, and you're going to be good to go the distance.
Yeah, we're just gonna get one more green flag pit stop here, if they keep it green, I should say. As somebody getting their lap back, couldn't quite tell who that was, but yeah, one more pit stop happening at about, let's say the window opens at probably lap 72, and it'll close at about lap 75 is when I expect these pit stops to be being made. But yeah, after that, everything's gonna be good to go. Fuel's going to be all topped off. Tires are going to be chilling for the end. And it'll be a great race for the victory. And I cannot wait to see who comes out on top. And I am hoping, as I always am, Nolan, hoping for a nice surprise winner. Somebody, 25th in the standings or back, locking the way into the playoffs at the last second possible.
Drivers are lined up, doubled up, ready to go back at it. Aaron Longworth right now leads the way. And you say if these guys go green to the end, that could be a relatively big if. I mean, we've seen these guys be calm and composed, but it was getting dicey there. We saw Joshua Siegfried go for a bit of a half spin. Jamin Bernhardt with a black flag looming over him. He is right now situated in pit road, and we'll have to come back around to get that black flag served. But boy, this could get interesting here.
Yeah, I do expect a lot of aggression now. I was talking about earlier how it was lap 10 and they're being aggressive. And I was like, what? Why are they being aggressive on lap 10? But now is the time, Nolan. I will allow all of the aggression, leave nothing on the table, not just yet. I think once we hit lap 80 is when I will really start accepting that level of aggression, but it's all going to kick off here soon, so do not go anywhere.
27 of the 28 cars that started this race are still running. All are on the lead lap. Green flag is back in the air. Aaron Longworth leads the way into turn one.
Yeah, TJ Ivey now catches up to his back bumper. Justin Day going to be the third car in that inside line. Ivey, of course, being Douglas Ivey, looking for a little bit of clean air on the inside is Evan Stewart just behind him. And then Stephen Blevins, your stage 2 winner, leading that outside line until he's not, because now that it's Justin Day hopping up to that outside line.
cruising on through. And as drivers get back up to speed, hitting speeds in excess of 190 miles an hour as they fire off of turn 4. Aaron Longworth getting muscled out here by TJ Ivey. Came off on the bottom and has to jump up in front of the 69 Justin Day. You saw Day trying to go up to the wall. Wasn't sure if he wanted to work with him, but eventually was left with no choice.
Yeah, Day was almost not having it there, Nolan. Longworth was almost about to be brought all the way to the back of the pack, but he kind of just put his car in the perfect position to where Day couldn't go low, couldn't go high, so his only option was actually just to stay behind the 42. And he is able to keep that outside line, actually keep the race lead for the time being, even after TJ Ivey kind of buoyed him out of that spot in a good effort to take the point. As here we go, the two Ivey brothers now leading that inside lane, the 33 and the 88. Gonna be 1 and 3 there.
TJ Ivey maintains his run up front. Douglas Ivey hot on his heels. 3 wide behind. Austin Norris leading the charge up on that outside line. And trying to pull a Akari King right along with Eric Wharton with him. But so far, not a lot of faith being shown to that third line still. Steve Evans jumps up high as well, but mostly the field remaining in 2 lanes.
Yeah, but you can just see that the 57 and the 1 of Akari King Wright and Austin Norris, they want to make their way up to the top part of this field. Akari King Wright just wants another win to tick on to his win so far this season, wants a playoff point as well. Austin Norris, though, he needs this win to get himself into the playoffs. So that third line, expect them to get really, really aggressive and start side drafting the ever-living crap out of that middle lane to work their way up, as once again, Ivey blocking time.
TJ Ivey goes up to the outside, cuts down to the inside, then immediately after to get back with his teammate Douglas Ivey. Clearly was trying to shut down the run from Aaron Longworth. Now he has had limited success with that. He prevented him from taking the lead into turn 1, but he will not stop from taking it out of turn 2. So right now, Justin Day shoving Aaron Longworth. They are both going to get clear to the front, and it looks like they're trying to bring the 24 Oscar with them. No! Justin Day abandons his teammate and goes down to the inside of Longworth.
Wow, great move there. Oh, Akari King Wright!
Oh, no!
Grass. Can you save it? Can you save it?
Hold on to her, buddy. Spins to the inside. That's going to break up the field. No caution, and we are still green.
The way the navigating from Akari King right there to not hit any single other driver in that pack is so impressive. I cannot wait to watch this one again.
Take a look back. Jamie Lee Dunning to the inside. King Wright up top. Brian Matthews on the inside of 3. Here comes Eric Morton for the middle. King Wright tried to chop him down. Was not aggressive enough. Spun down to the inside. Back up the racetrack and went for a huge slide all the way around through turns 3 and 4. Pulls the 360 slider and gets that underneath him. Take another look at this again. Watch how close this was as King Wright spins down to the bottom, back up in towards traffic. Then a 360-degree spin for pulling that car underneath him. What a save.
I mean, he just didn't stay in his lane, boy, and it had me stressed out, definitely had him stressed out, as he almost took the entire rig there on a wild ride.
King Wright, of course, one of the drivers that was locked in entering tonight after winning the second race at Dover. So King Wright not too stressed about it. I'm sure he's like, okay, well, I guess I get to take the rest of the night easily.
Yeah, and of course, I don't know if anyone else caught it, but I did very effortlessly, not as effortlessly as I would have hoped, but I dropped 3 or 4 21 Pilots song titles in there, as of course the 21 Pilots car was the one caught up in that wreck. So comment down below, see if you guys were able to spot a few of them, and we'll see if anyone found all of them.
Well, apparently you've been missing me with those.
Oh, surely you caught one of them.
No, I don't listen to 21 Pilots.
Stressed out?
No.
It's one of the biggest ones.
No, I don't listen to the band. I'm sorry.
It's all good. I'm just going to shame you for it.
What do you mean? I'm sorry for having my own tastes. I didn't know that was illegal.
Yeah, Bakari King, right? We're gonna be in your DMs about it for next week now.
So as a result of that spin, you got 17th on up that have managed to stay together as a pack. It's really been 18th on down that's been really impacted by that. Daniel Molinari, Joshua Singfrey, Robert Tester, and then Hoagland, Graves, Gamble, and Chiola. They're all in one line together. They're not losing time, but they're certainly not gaining it right now in the front runners, and they are just hoping that a caution comes out to get them back into the contention of this race.
Yeah, they are very far back. If they're able to work together, they can catch this lead pack. They're just so far behind. It seems so distant. They just have to simply put, stay single file, have the second guy in line, push the first guy in line, make sure that third guy in line stays really, really close to give that second guy an aero draft, and everybody else behind just has to do their part, lift off, not play aggressive, and they can see the light at the end of the tunnel. They can catch up to this pack. It'll just take a lot of time, a lot of teamwork, and a lot of effort.
Take one more look at this incident from above here with Akari King right. He comes down across the racetrack. Oh, just avoids the back of Brian Matthews. Chris Mackey did a stellar job to lock it down. And then so does the two Joshua Singford when the one spun back up across the racetrack before going for that 360-degree slide to the infield. That had all the markings of being a massive pilot. I have to give huge props on everybody involved for being able to ensure that that was only a one-car incident.
Yeah, I didn't catch it before because I was so busy thinking of references, but it's insane how close Akari King Wright came to Brian Matthews there. I mean, I don't think I could have stuck a sheet of paper in between the 28 and the 1 machines. That was so crazy, and you said it perfectly, narrowly avoided the big one.
3 wide. A couple of cars still jockeying here, and I'll tell you what, this is actually allowing for 18th on back to reel these guys in just a little bit because they're slowing each other down by this aggressive dogfighting that we're seeing up front here. Drivers are still not at the point where you can pit and be safe to go the distance. You need to wait another 7 or so laps for that point to occur. So this is all just complete mayhem as drivers try to get out in front to lead some laps.
Yeah, find some fresh air, maybe stay a little bit back, save some fuel as, oh my gosh, Steven Linger getting awfully close to making contact with Austin Norris. He's a lone car, or not anymore, but he was the lone car on the outside line, so he was just trying to side draft to, really keep his spot, but it's not looking like it's going to happen as that 6 car now is going to fall all the way to the tail end of that outside line now.
Well, the field is going to still try to make a run at it here. As Blevins, Day, Ivy, and the other Ivy all managed to get lined up single file. Austin Guerrero makes it 5. Steven Linger leads the way out top with Austin Norris, the primary pusher, 25 to go.
Yeah, now it's a question of can the 6 and the 91 push each other well enough to actually catch up to Blevins and Day. But they did a great job linking up and, really keeping this inside line ahead of them, as I do believe Blevins and Day are teammates. They're not, excuse me. Steven Blevins is a teammate with the Car King Wright and Douglas Ivy. I confused the two teams there. But they are working together really well to keep that outside line inhibited. But Douglas Ivy, or TJ Ivy getting really aggressive.
Austin Guerrero shuffled out, and that breaks up the front pack just a tad. And I want to point out that Daniel Molinari and the group of 18 on down, they have reeled in the gap from 4.5 seconds to the next car up down to 3.8. So over the last 5 laps or so, they've gained about 8-9 of a second. They are steadily closing in on these guys, and that's got to be a point of concern, especially these guys do have in close moments like that.
Yeah, this goes back to what I was saying. It can be done, Nolan. It just takes a lot of patience. And they're probably gaining about 2.5 tenths a lap. So they can catch them by the end of this stint if they really just keep working at it. As you see, Siegfried, Tester, and the 82 of Molinari, they're doing a great job of 3 cars in tandem. That 4th guy, Hoglin's doing a phenomenal job of staying close to Tester and giving him that backdraft. And I can see why they're catching. They're doing a really good job at keeping everything in order and closing this gap to the guys ahead.
That 3-car tandem takes a lot of trust in the guys around you, right? We often say you can't push the pusher. You technically can, but not for very long, and only with an extreme amount of trust and coordination with the guys behind you, right? So it's one of those things where you barely ever see it for that reason, but clearly these guys have a lot of trust in each other here right now, that they are all going to work together to push them up to the front and to contend for some points.
Yeah, pushing the pusher is one of the rules in Superspeedway to never do, but in some circumstances like this one, it kind of turns into a must-do. When you have to catch the guys ahead like they are trying to do right now, pushing the pusher becomes a last-ditch effort, a last resort almost, and they are using it very effectively. Essentially how you do it is you wait for that second car in line to contact that first car in line. Wait for those two to link up, and then that's when that 3rd car, he then links up with the 2nd car, and you have 3 cars all glued together, pushing their way through. And that's how you want to do it. But if that 3rd car makes contact with the 2nd car before that 2nd guy touches the lead car, that's where things start getting out of shape. That's where you get the bad pushes and the pushing into each other, and that's where you get cars going sideways.
Well, the field going to keep on firing here. 3 wide for some drives behind. That's Austin Norris. Austin Guerrero squeezing him up a little bit. With Jamie Lee Dunning down low. And now Eric Morton almost getting turned by RJ Malam in the middle. Okay, guys. Take it easy. We're not at that point yet. There's a car at King Wright, losing the lap after going for that spin about 5-8 laps ago. And he'll try to tuck in behind the leading group.
And once again, Levins and Day doing a great job of controlling the pace. They are single file so far back now. I'm trying to see where Eric Morton is. He's
here we
over
go.
in 10th place. His pit stops.
This is a little bit earlier than I anticipated, but I guess if it works, it works, right? Justin Day makes it to pit road. So does Evan Stewart. Austin Guerrero and Steven Linger in as well. Oh, no! And now the caution is out as Dave Shively spins across the finish line. Jamin Bernhardt caught up in it as well. And so is Frank Chavez, who had just gone a lap down.
Okay, so our first non-stage caution of the night, and it comes just as the pit stops were kicking off.
Well, and this is going to shake up the race, right? Because this is going to make sure that the field never gets broken apart again. It's a free-for-all from here to the end.
Oh, yeah, you're right, because everyone's going to be back in line with 20 to go right now. It'll be 17 to go at the green. Pit stops, not a necessary thing at all. Even with the green-white checker, you'll be good to go.
So Frank Chavez was in the process of going down a lap. There you see David Shively down on the inside. And there's Jamin Bernhardt up top. I'm willing to bet. Oh, no! It was the 91. Turned Shively hard into the outside wall. The 57 Austin Norris got caught up. And you're going to see Jamin Bernhardt ran into the back of Shively as he spun back down across the road. I thought it'd be a case of Frank Chavez getting in Jamin Bernhardt's way.
Weird how it started, and luckily it happened far back in the pack, so definitely not a big one that you usually see here at Talladega. But let's take another look at it as the 91. It's kind of hard to see there, but something happens.
The 91 of RJ Malam got squeezed up. I'm just not sure by who. There's Shively down on the low side. It was the number 9 of Dean Howard. Dean Howard tried to squeeze to the middle there and just pinched him in.
I see. So Dean Howard, yeah, Dean Howard tried to go high to avoid the 85.
Yes.
The 91 didn't know he was 3, and when he tried to get back in that second lane, he chopped the nose. That makes sense.
On board with Howard. Maybe on board. There we go. On board with Howard. I mean, he would have been getting the car outside called. I mean, you gotta be aware of your surroundings if you're gonna make a move like that.
Yeah, I get wanting to pass the slower car on the inside, but there's a guy up there who's trying to find that second lane already. I don't know. It's just a bit too aggressive.
Oh, actually, hold on. This actually explains a lot more. Shively was trying to come to pit road, and he missed the braking point. That's why he was so slow. That throws another factor into the mix.
Wow, poor Chavez, by the way, who just had nowhere to go. Complete passenger in that wreck.
This is just an incident, right, of everybody did something wrong to kick that off, right? I mean, Shively should have stayed under the yellow line, for one, until it was, a bit more up to speed instead of just blending into traffic. Dean Howard should have lifted out of that or tried to, help facilitate that a bit more aggressively. I mean, there's multiple parties that can be found in that one. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a racing incident, but arguably one that easily could have been avoided if there was just a bit more situational awareness of all parties.
Yeah, 100%. And then, of course, the 91, seeing Dean Howard going high, shouldn't have actually turned down into that second lane, especially because surely he got the 3 wide call by that time. I need to see it again, maybe to really make the decision, but surely he did.
I find it less. I find it harder to put any fault on Ron Milan for that because he was 3 wide. He was already in the middle. I mean, he didn't go much lower. I don't know if he was trying to pinch in Dean Howard. I doubt he was. I doubt that was his intention. But it's hard to fault the guy in the middle that's running his line versus the two drivers that are both coming up from the bottom.
Yeah, if he's already middle of 3 and some guy makes that middle of 4 on your inside, you're not going to get a call for that. You're right. So he just simply wouldn't have known there would have been 2 cars on his inside if he's already getting that middle of 3 call from his spotter. That also makes a lot of sense.
Should get the 1 to go signal this time by, and that will leave us with just 16 laps to run. It'll be the shortest green flag run that we will have had all night long.
Yeah, and while we wait, I can do one more quick playoffs update. I'll just run down this top 10. Justin Day, Steven Linger, those 2 are in must-win positions. They have done what they needed to do. 1st and 5th respectively. Now they just have to finish in 1st. They've gotten themselves up here. The top 5 is where you want to be for a race win at Talladega. Now they just have to close it off. Evan Stewart, of course, he's in. Austin Guerrero is -5 to the cutoff line. So what that means is he has to beat Chris Gaxel by 3 positions, then beat Wayne Graves by 2 positions. Currently where he is right now, he is meeting both of those criteria. So if Austin Guerrero is able to keep this up, he can lock himself into the playoffs as well, unless I should say, there is a new winner. Then Austin Guerrero also has to beat Chris Mackey by 14 points, which I believe he is doing as well right now, but just barely. There's so much going on with the points here, so much that can get shaken up here. But at the moment, that is what it's looking like. It's Austin Guerrero, your guy right under the cutoff line, and Justin Day and Steven Linger as your must-win drivers.
Green flag set to come out this time by Day, Stewart, Guerrero, Linger, Ivy, Longworth for the top 3 rows. Douglas, Ivy, Matthews, Blevins, and Howard round out the top 10. And this is going to become an all-out slugfest from here to the end of this race. No fuel mileage now to hold these drivers back. And it is on from here to the end. Justin Day will lead the field around in the happy hour number 69 Mustang. Into the United Rentals restart zone. Green flag is back in the air, and we're underway.
Yeah, and for hopefully the last time, that green flag flies after the yellow, and Justin Day, Austin Guerrero already in tandem, doing a great job of getting ahead of that outside line. And Blevins now looking for an aggressive move to the top. Ivy goes to block that off.
Down the back straightaway. There go both Ivies. They're going to take Blevins with them up to the outside, and all of a sudden, Day and Guerrero are vulnerable up front. No help from behind from Dean Howard, as TJ Ivy going to be pushed by his brother to the point.
Yeah, Guerrero and Day, though, they're also doing a great job of pushing. Look at that 24 machine all up on that rear bumper of the 69. It's a 2v2 for the ages here, Nolan.
And almost 4 wide in the background as well, as that third lane picking up steam. Look out as Douglas Ivy shuffled out the line. Here comes Chris Beckett. Look out, trouble! Aaron Morrison hard into the outside wall. Stewart gets collected as well. Spinning back down across the racetrack. Blake Hewlett locks it down to avoid getting involved. A hard shot into the outside wall for Eric Morton. And just like that, caution is out for the 4th time tonight.
Yeah, it's starting to ramp up. Here is the aggression I've been talking about. It's been bottled up the entire race, just like a carbonated soda waiting to explode. And here it is. Somebody opened the lid, and all that carbonation is coming out. It's fizzing over. It's exploding. We have a second crash within 4 laps.
Take a look. They were 3 wide. You could see this coming right when Douglas Ivy moved up high. That stacked up the field. Blevins into Stewart. Then it was Aaron Long with that hooked Evan Stewart into Eric Morton. They both went into the outside wall. Nowhere for Austin Norris to go. Aaron Longworth got collected. RJ Malam caught a piece. And Blake Hewlett didn't end up getting involved in that Busch number 87 Chevrolet Camaro before Eric Morton spun down to the inside.
Yeah, so just a situation of a stack up happening further up in the field. The guys behind just weren't expecting it, and not even a bad push, just a bad stack up, really.
Golly, that is a lick that the 4 car took, and that'll be a day ender for Eric Morton as well. A tough break. He's been running a good race all day long, and just an innocent bystander takes him out of the game.
Yeah, especially him being in that must-win situation now for the playoffs.
Yes, sir.
Unfortunately, we can safely say that 4 machine not going to be into the playoffs for this season at least. Hopefully, we can see some more strong performances from him next season and lock himself up there. But for the time being, he's going to have to use these playoff races now to really work on his craft, up his skill, and next season we're going to hope to see him up there.
A rough break here, and this field going to show no signs of easing up anytime soon, with plenty of racing still yet to be had by the end of this one.
Yeah, and Justin Day did a great job of keeping the lead there, doing what he has to do. Although I will say, being in the lead on the last lap of Daytona or Talladega is not always where you want to be because of the runs from behind, because of all the games that get played. Sometimes being in the lead is actually one of the worst positions to be in. You just have to do a lot of blocking. You take a lot of risks to really keep it, as Austin Norris coming down pit lane, Shively, I believe, as well. This is very much an unscheduled pit stop. Maybe drivers not thinking they're good if there's a green-white checker.
Also, drivers that got caught up with damage from that mess wanted to get damage repairs as well. So only a handful of cars come in. Frank Chavez gets the lucky dog free pass up high. Caution flags out once again on Green Flag TV. We'll be back in a minute with more. Stay with us.
Pinnacle Wraps, we proudly offer top-tier liveries that showcase your unique style on the racetrack. Elevate your iRacing experience today with a stunning custom design that truly represents who you are and your passion for racing.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flying TV, where racing action is set to kick off once again. My name is Ola Rempel alongside Lucas Moody. You're watching the final race of the regular series season here for the Zero Torque Racing League at Talladega Superspeedway. Lucas, this race has proven to be an interesting one so far, right? Far cleaner than we're used to seeing Superspeedway races pan out, but could this be where everything goes off the rails?
Yeah, it definitely could be. I mean, it's a super speedway. I was explaining it earlier. The aggression's been bottled up, and now it's time for it to release. And at a track like this, where you're pack racing so close to one another, I often describe it as 180 mile an hour rush hour traffic. It's just the perfect situation for crashes, like almost like scientifically made for chaos. And definitely going to see some more of that here. But let's hope. All I care about is a good green flag finish.
At this point, it's a who knows, right? Your prediction is that we make it to 2 to go, and then we go into overtime. My prediction is we don't even make it to 5.
I mean, yeah, I think you were saying as well that these last 13 laps could potentially take as long as the last 40, which definitely could happen if we go caution after caution after caution. But I think that we're going to settle in for 10 laps time until that 2 to go, where people get really, really antsy. There'll be one more wreck. Then we get the green-white checkered. Still a lot of aggression, but I think they'll keep it safe for the green-white checkered. We'll get a good finish. As do remind me, Nolan, is it 2 or 3 GWC attempts in this league?
I believe it is 3 for the series, but we'll obviously see if we get to it. Hopefully we don't. We haven't been able to find that out yet so far this season, and
which is good.
It's good. Yeah, that's a very good thing. We hope that trend continues here this afternoon. United Rentals restart zone awaits the field. 11 laps to go. The field is back to green.
Wow, once again, Justin Day just gets a really good start. Actually, Austin Guerrero now coming down to the inside instantly. Remember, they're happy hour teammates. Guerrero and Day going to be now first and seconds. And Guerrero, he doesn't need the win. Justin Day does. So we might see a little bit, not even a little bit, a lot of teamwork between those guys.
Oh, no!
We're already wrecking.
What did I tell you? Guerrero goes around. Mackey's up into the air. 2 cars sliding, almost getting into the inside wall. I think Dean Howard did clap the wall. Blevins keeps it out of the fence, and I told you weren't making it to 5.
I'm just, yeah, you're smarter than me. I don't know what to say.
I've been around the block enough. I can read these things. I was able to read the room a bit based on how that last restart went, and yeah, kind of as anticipated, unfortunately.
Austin Guerrero, just as I was hyping him up too, it's another commentator's curse there, as I was just talking about him and Justin Day. Maybe they can punch both of their tickets into the playoffs here. but Austin Guerrero gets taken out by TJ Ivy come just spinning
right
down
there.
the track.
TJ Ivy jumped up high. And right there, actually, Justin Day goes under the line. Ivy tried to cut back in, and then he got turned by Dean Howard because the hole had filled. I don't know what TJ was thinking there, but right into the path of Mackey, who had nowhere to go. Brian Matthews gave a big shot, so Mackey arguably got the worst out of that deal because he took hits from the front and the back.
I think who got the worst out of the deal was Austin Guerrero, going from second to now 25th, probably all the way back in the field. And that's such an uncharacteristic mistake there from TJ Ivy, a 3-time winner this season, just going where he has no right to go.
And then, of course, Dean Howard. Oh, man. Oh, and a big lick right into the inside wall. I don't know what the heck happened there with Dean Howard. The car took a sharp right-hand turn back to the racetrack. Was the steering broke? Oh, that's uncalled for. I don't know how else to show that. I mean, you saw it, I saw it, but that wheel make a jerk to the right. I can't explain why. This is on board Stephen Blevins. Look at how close this car comes from getting into the inside wall. Just able to keep it off the inside fence.
Yeah, and off that 9 machine, as well as he almost made contact with that Doritos car.
From up top. You're going to watch as Ivy goes up high and then just tries to cut back in, but the hole was full. And then I can't explain why Dean Howard turns right. I can't explain that.
I would assume he's just trying to get back onto the racing surface, get off the apron. That's my assumption, but
Talk about
there's a car
no
there.
awareness.
Yeah.
Well, this will put us under 10 laps to go. And this race getting set to enter yet another dimension to it. Turning now lap 82 of 90 here this afternoon. And Justin Day continues to lead at this point. He could be the odds-on favorite to win.
Yeah, I would love to see, I talked about it earlier, I love surprise winners. He was another one of the drivers I had in mind, qualifying this race in 6th position, entering in a must-win position. That's exactly what you want to do. He's done a great job of staying in the top 10 almost the entire race. He's now worked himself up to the point of this pack for 2 restarts in a row, and he's got to just, believe in himself, put those blocks where he needs to, not put the bad blocks in, but stay aggressive and stay winning, and he can lock himself in to the playoffs from, I believe, like 26th in the standings. But just behind, Steven Linker, another one of the drivers in a must-win position. So he's also going to be racing for it all. And I'll get an update on their standings. Linker's in 34th, and Justin Day is in 26th. So they could make huge leaps in the standings. And it's going to be those two versus each other. One on the inside, one on the outside. Let's see who comes out on top.
Field lines up, double file. Justin Day leading the way on the inside line. Steven Linker will lead the way on the outside line. So, all of this as we get set to see what these final 7 laps will look like, and it is going to be an intense ride.
Yeah, and it's heartbreaking for Austin Guerrero as well, as he was so good this entire race. He was in 2nd before that incident where he was really just a passenger from the guys behind him. He was, once again, 5 below the cut line, now running in 20th. He has a lot of work to do to remake up those points and try to secure himself in the playoffs. But not only that, Justin Day has lost his teammate at the front now. So now he had that 24 car to push him to this victory. Now he's lost that, and he has to rely on the guys behind, like Tester, Ivy, Siegfried, hoping now he can get some help from those guys that have already locked themselves into the playoffs.
Seven to go is going to be the distance. As Justin Day, Steven Linger will be the two drivers to lead us back to the green flag. Douglas Ivy, Robert Tester, the main pushers. Tester's first win of the season came at Daytona. He is a driver that knows how to get the job done at the plate tracks. Justin Day will be the one to lead us to green to the United Rentals restart zone.
It's a great jump with Douglas Ivy. Ivy actually looking like he wants to block off the high line. Now he drops back down to the bottom. Oh, Linger also drops down to the bottom, essentially abandoning Robert Tester. Luckily, he does have Daniel Molinari to come and help him. But now Siegfried, Tester's Penske teammate, is going to hop up and help him as whoa! Aggression coming out with 7 to go.
Douglas Ivy abandons Justin Day. Sold to the dummy like he was going to go up high and immediately cut down low. Prevented Justin Day from getting it in. So Douglas Ivy to the point. Linger hooks up with him. Siegfried now in the primary push into Justin Day up top. 6 laps to go this time by at the line.
Yeah, Justin Day is now working with those 2 Penske teammates who, remember, you said it, Tester actually won Daytona, so he knows that Siegfried and Tester are good around these plate tracks. He's going to use that to his advantage and get himself back to the point of this race. As further behind, we can take a look at Frank Chavez, Austin Guerrero, both of them in this playoff fight still.
Austin Norris is flashing out the background, and that is really hampering Austin Guerrero and Frank Chavez with the tail of the field. Look at Jamie Lee Dunning jumping up to the outside with Adam Hogland. They're trying to find a way to get through to the front of this race. 5 laps to go at the line, and no one is pulling their punches right now.
Yeah, and we also see Chris Gaxel, who's currently 3 above the cut line. But if we have a new winner here, which could be Justin Day, he has to beat Mackey by at least 6 points if he wants to keep his playoff spot. And looking, Chris Mackey is in 23rd position. So at the moment, he is doing that, but he has to watch out, and Gaxel has to keep his nose clean here.
Joshua Siegfried jumping up to the outside. Justin Day down low. Robert Tester in the mix. As we look to go 3 wide for second. Linger thought about going up top. A corking right and Stephen Blems have already opened up the 3rd lane. And it's Tester pushing Siegfried to the point. Linger jumps down low.
Wow, the 2 Penske teammates do a great job of getting 1-2 now as, oh my gosh, TJ Ivy almost bullied Justin Day off the inside line. He was having none of it. Justin Day holds his ground. He keeps that car 4th. That's where he needs to be by the last lap and still put himself in contention for that win as Akari King Wright and Blevins are being so aggressive on that high side. They're doing whatever they can to make this 3 wide work to get them to the top of this field here.
3 laps to go this time by. Daniel Molinari jumps up from the inside. Linger and Justin Day jump up high as well, leaving Tester and Siegfried all by themselves. But no momentum in that second group right now. Here comes Jamie Lee Dunning and Douglas Ivy to fill the hole. Jamie Lee Dunning could look to jump up high here as they come into the tri-oval. With only 3 laps to go. Looking for 3, looking for 4 behind. Trouble! Big crash in the front straightaway. 5, 6 cars collected. It's the big one on the front straightaway. With 4 laps to go, and it's overtime.
Oh my, there were 3 wide. Justin Day was trying to hold that that second line, he was, but he just got driven into by one of the gray cars. I couldn't quite tell who it was. I know it wasn't Gaxel. Gaxel did get involved into that, but he wasn't one of the starters. We'll get a look at it here, but look as Justin Day, they're just bullying him out of this middle lane here.
Molinari gave him a bit of a shove there into the inside line, and then it was Day that drifted back up into Molinari. Then he got into Chris Gaxel. That spun him hard into the outside wall. TJ Ivey punched up on top of Adam Hogland. Stephen Blevins collected as well. The 28 strikes the fence. All this considered, it could have been worse, but that is without a doubt the big one at Daytona.
Yeah, and Justin Day, I was hoping for him so much. I wanted him to get this win, lock himself in, be the surprise winner that we all wanted so bad, but just like that, in the blink of an eye, Nolan, the 69's race and playoff berth hopes are now over.
Aaron Longworth had the 88 go on top of him in the middle of all of this, right on board to the 42, who had nowhere to go. Oh, sorry, he actually made it out of that. Somebody had the 88 on top of him, though. I'm not sure who it was.
Yeah, it could have been the 2 of Hogland you saw, or the 4 of Ted Gamble, maybe.
Probably the 12, yeah, you're right. As, man, it's just Justin Day getting caught between 2 lines that are both converging on each other and nothing you can really do about it. Now look at the 88 here. He got sandwiched in there and just punched on. Yeah, it was Adam Hogland, fully on top of the roof of the number, or the windshield for the number 12.
I mean, definitely the big one here happened at Dega. It took it 87 laps to occur, but it did happen eventually with 3 to go, and that's going to leave us now a green-white checkered attempt. And remember what that means. They're going to do 1 lap to the white flag, and once that white flag is out, the next flag ends the race. So here we go, on board with Hogland. I mean, what do you do there?
Not a lot you can do, except block the brakes down and hold your horses.
He had a car approaching him from his right, a car approaching him from his left, and they just pinchered him as Gaxel now heavy damage. He's only 3 above the cut line. He has to be so careful. He needs a decent result here just to secure himself in case there is a new winner.
Yeah, that's game over effectively for him. Man,
is
tough.
that Wayne Graves?
Tough. Yeah, Wayne Graves is up here. He's up to 14th now.
So yeah, the reason I was so shocked at that, Wayne Graves is the driver only 3 points below Chris Gaxel. So if he finishes 3 places above Gaxel, even if there isn't a repeat winner, Gaxel will lose his playoff berth to the likes of Wayne Graves.
Right on board with Blake Hewlett. He was behind the mess. And he is going to have the C's part in front of him and just barely managed to escape the big one down low, even as a Car King right piles in not even 2 feet to his right.
Wow, yeah, he did a great job of just staying in the gas, going low, and as this is a phenomenal shot as we just get to watch all of the drivers drifting away as this Busch-Light machine able to stay clear of any instance there.
Ted Gamble as well did a good job to mitigate the damage that he got out of that. He did get caught up a little bit, but he was able to avoid the worst of it.
All right, so, oh, Justin Day. Look at that. Still able to keep a lot of his positions there. Surprised to see it, but happy for him nonetheless. I thought his chances at a playoff were over, but look at him up there in 6th. Still, Steven Linger up there in 5th as well. So the 2 drivers I said to keep an eye on for the must-win situations, they're still up there, 5th and 6th, with this green-white checkered here, 3 to go. So all hope not lost for them just yet. But with the Penske teammates out in front, it's going to be hard to break that number.
Joshua Siegfried will lead the way. Robert Tester, the Daytona winner, to his outside. It is overtime attempt number 1 here at Talladega. Jamie Lee Dunning and Douglas Ivey on the outside. We just need to make it back to the white flag, and then this race will be official.
Yeah, here we go. It all comes down to this, and I'm hoping we can just get one good, clean lap of racing in so we can put the cherry on top of the cake, wrap up this regular season nicely with a nice little bow on top. But for that to happen, we just got to get one lap of good racing, catch that white flag, and then we can say the next flag ends the race, and we can have the results of not only Talladega, but the entire regular season.
Coming down to the wire. The United Rentals Restart Zone awaits for what could be the final time. As we make our way into the restart zone, green flag is out. Joshua Siegfried leads us back. Overtime officially underway. 5 miles of racing to go.
Yeah, Tester Siegfried neck and neck, side by side. They have Jamie Lee Dunning, Douglas Ivey just behind them. All 4 of those drivers are locked into the playoffs. It's not until Steven Ling or Justin Day until we get to the drivers that need to be winning this race. Tester kind of left alone. Steven Linger trying to make up the distance, make up that gap, bring himself in to this top 3 consideration. But here we go, entering turn 3 now. They've kept it clean.
Turn numbers 3 and 4. Joshua Siegfried still leads the way. A little bit of 3 wide, deeper in the field, but so far, nobody's doing anything too dramatic just yet. They're saving it for the white flag. Into the tri-oval. Jamie Lee Dunning, does he look high? Arjun Malam's already gone up top, but Lee Dunning is going to stick with Siegfried. 1 lap to go at Talladega.
Well, RJ Malam, another driver in a must-win situation. He's now entered the conversation, leaving that top lane. The white flag comes out. This race is now official. Who is going to win it? It is Siegfried leading the way. We have a car spinning in the back. That doesn't matter. Jamie Lee Dunning all on the bumper of Siegfried. Graves is now out of this race.
Wayne Graves spins in the back. Meanwhile, 2x3-way. Look out! Douglas Ivey gets turned! He's able to hold on to it just barely. RJ Malone still trapped in the middle. Chris Mackey sliding out. He's going to go hard to the outside wall. Vicious hit from Mackey in the back. And Siegfried's turn! Siegfried's turn for the lead! Multiple cars up into the air. It's the big one out of turn 4. And out of all of it, Jamie Lee Dunning pulling clear. No competition. And Jamie Lee Dunning wins at Talladega for the regular series finale.
Oh my gosh, what a finish. Everybody in the top 10 got wrecked out except one car, Nolan. And that one car is the 54 of Jamie Lee Dunning. He was well clear of the playoff cutoff line, but a win would be a great way to top off the regular season for him. Congratulations to him winning Talladega. And that means that Chris Gaxel, Nolan, might just be safe once all the numbers are crunched.
Oh boy. Gaxel finishes his race down in 24th though. Wayne Graves was in 18th, so no, Gaxel should in fact be out. Chris Mackey, I believe, will be safe. He was 9 points to the good. The question is, do Austin Guerrero's points line up? Mackey may also be out of this race. Frank Chavez, though, confirmed is in the 14th place spot.
Yeah, if Austin Guerrero finished high enough, he also couldn't take out Chris Mackey from the playoffs, or even Wayne Graves, who we think is in the playoffs now, as a car king, right? Giving Jamie Lee Dunning a lot of well-deserved bumps here from a great race from him. So yeah, where did Austin Guerrero finish that race?
Guerrero finished in 6th, way up the field.
Oh. I think that is enough. So not only is it enough to definitely replace Wayne Graves, so Austin Guerrero jumps Wayne Graves, jumps Chris Gaxel. It might jump Mackey. But I think 15th and 16th, I think it's going to be Mackey and Guerrero.
Wayne Graves had quite the spin in the back. Let's ride on board here as Jamie Lee Dunning celebrates the front straightaway. This is on board with Chris Mackey. And this is just going to be with his initial spin here as he took a wicked shot into the outside wall and fired down across the track. We'll have to get another look at that one again in a moment, but for now, let's look on with this critical final corner. Joshua Siegfried gets turned by Jamie Lee Dunning for the win. And then Siegfried, out of control, is going to spin back up the racetrack and collects everyone behind him.
Yeah, and looking at it from that angle, I just think
man.
Siegfried went for a bump that wasn't on. But
Stephen Linger caught up into the air big time, and everyone flying in. Look at Blevins skating through the middle there.
How insane is that wreck?
Big hits for Douglas Ivey, who got collected, and then there's Adam Hoagland, tried to go for the middle, and nowhere for him to go as the door closed. Jeez.
I mean, that was almost the entire remaining field. That was 6 or 17 cars that got involved in that.
I mean, as well have been the rest of the field there at that point. At least all of the drivers that could have competed with Jamie Lee Dunning for the win. Take a look from up top. Oh, golly, that is a hit for Linger into the outside wall. And we'll get a look on board with Blevins here in a minute. But before we get to that, this is once more what happened to Chris Mackey at the tail end of the field here. Boom! Smokes the outside wall and just gets completely cratered by everyone behind him. And now this is the look on board with Blevins as he sneaks through. Oh, this is actually with Joshua Siegfried. Blevins managed to sneak through to a second-place finish after this.
Wow. Oh, that's a Lightning McQueen moment. 100% a Lightning McQueen moment if I've ever seen it. Smoke screens to outer space and back and still able to find a way through. Great stuff from him. Wow.
Man. A wild scene that we had here this afternoon, and that brings the regular series season to a close. Taking a rundown of your official post-race results, Jamie Lee Dunning takes home the race win. Stephen Blevins picks up the number 2 spot after a wild avoidance. Frank Chavez sneaks through as well to clinch a podium. Austin Norris comes on 4th. Justin Day in 5th. Guerrero survives for a 6th place run. Bernhardt, Longworth, Malam, and Akari King Wright round out the top 10.
Then finishing tonight's race in 11th is going to be Bride Matthews. Then behind, Adam Hoagland, Douglas Ivey, Robert Tester, Daniel Molinari, Joshua Siegfried, Ted Gamble, Wayne Graves, Blake Hewlett, and Stephen Linger wrap out your top 20.
And moving on down to the rest of the field, it's Chris Mackey, TJ Ivey, Chris Gaxel, with Dave Shively, Dean Howard, Evan Stewart, Eric Morton, and Jonathan Dominics. The top 16 have been confirmed, by the way, for the chase drive or the playoff drivers entering Iowa next week. And for those top 16, you are going to have yourself TJ Ivey, Robert Tester, Evan Stewart, Jamie Lee Dunning, Akari King Wright, Daniel Molinari, and then, of course, Jonathan Dominic, Stephen Blevins, Blake Hewlett, Joshua Siegfried, Brian Matthews, Aaron Longworth, Douglas Ivey, Frank Chavez, Austin Guerrero. And that will be the drivers that round out the top 16 from there. Man, what a wild, wild ride that we had here this afternoon as we're going to get a chit-chat in here with the drivers that finished this race numbers 1, 2, and 3 at the tail end. Let's start things off first and foremost with Jamie Lee Dunning here, the driver that comes home number 1 here tonight. Jamie, what a wild final lap there. I know some drivers are going to have thoughts of how that race came to an end. Talk about that final lap from your perspective there.
My whole thing was just to push Josh to the finish and, try to have him make a mistake in one of the corners. And he went up high with me, so I ducked low and, I just kept my foot on the gas. And unfortunate You know, and I apologize to Joshua Siegfried for that. You know, I don't deserve this win. He deserved this win. You know, because I was either going to A, push him, or B, I was going to make him a mistake and be right underneath him fair and square, but that wasn't fair at all. So my sincere apology goes out to Joshua on that cause. You know, it's not how I drive.
Overall, though, this final win secures your spot into the playoff rounds. You're already pretty safe on points, but with this now being confirmed, how are you going to be able to reset for the next 3 races coming on up? Because you go from a Superspeedway to the first round at Iowa, and it's going to be quite the ride.
It's just like my normal motto: keep the car clean every week, and you know, stay out of trouble. You know, super speedways, the incidents happen, and they're usually big. Short tracks, they're usually small ones. You know, single car spins, and somebody gets collected in it. But main goal is keep the car clean and finish style with it at the end of the night.
Despite just 1 win on the regular series season, you still finished at 3rd of the points. Do you reckon you can keep this momentum through then and take the win for the title?
Absolutely. You know, I've been finishing pretty consistent this year, top 10s, you know, top 5s here and there. Just got to work on tire saving and, you know, fuel strategy a little bit more. And hopefully I can contend with the best in this league to fight for that championship at the end of the season.
Well, we'll wish you the best of luck when we go racing once again next week at Iowa. Congratulations on taking home number 1 this afternoon, and we'll see you again next time out.
Thank you, guys. Have a good weekend.
Jamie Lee Dunning for Keystone Racing Group comes home number 1 here this afternoon, and we will try to see if we can track down Stephen Blevins from Ivy Racing Incorporated. The driver that sneaks through the middle to come home number 2 is standing by with Lucas Moody.
Yes, welcome Stephen Blevins, number 51, or should I say Lightning McQueen, number 95, with that last lap move through the smokescreen. Phenomenal job to finish 2nd. Talk us through what you were thinking there.
Just trying to hang on there and seeing the smoke starting, cars going everywhere. Man, Harry told me to pick a line I could drive through it, and made it through there. So, but they was squeaking a 2nd out of there. So, I mean, I'll take it.
I mean, yeah, as a driver who was already locked into the playoffs on points coming into this race, a 2nd must feel really, really good, and slingshot yourself now into Iowa next week.
It does, man. I like the short tracks. I'm looking forward to Iowa. You know, I wanted to win today to end out the season, but you know, I'll be okay with a 2nd. You know, it's definitely better than it could have been.
Yeah, and do you have any other thoughts on this race? Anything else you're excited to look forward to? I mean, 3 playoff points here to help start off your round of 16 here. You looking forward to it?
I am. I'm looking forward to that first round and see if I can skate through there. You know, and then try to survive the 2nd round and see where we got when we stack up these guys here at the end there.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and once again, congrats on your 2nd.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, guys.
Yes, sir. And that was Stephen Blevins, and I believe now Nolan has a chance to talk with our 3rd place finisher, Frank Chavez.
Yes, sir. Frank Chavez coming home 3rd place here this afternoon, and a much-needed 3rd place at that. Frank, you were one of the drivers that was very much not safe entering this final regular series race, but you're able to sneak your way through that last lap melee and clinch yourself in as 13th in the overall points, and that is enough to get you into the playoffs. How does it feel?
Oh, yeah, it feels good. I know it was close. I was just trying to, I got involved in the early caution and had to get all my damage repaired and just try to stay on the lead lap and try to finish. And I just kept the pedal to the metal through that carnage and squeaked in 3rd place.
Talk us through this race as a whole, because obviously that final lap was a critical one. What was going through your head when you saw the field started to break apart in front of you?
Oh, yeah, I just tried to avoid it and finish the race, and I made it.
Well, with you coming in the bottom half of the playoff field here into the round of 16, it's going to be a three very intense weeks coming up for you, I'd imagine. It's Iowa, Nashville, and Pocono. What are you going to have to do to try to see if you can survive into the round of 12?
Just try to be consistent, keep the car clean, and be there at the end. It's the main thing, and see where I end up.
All right, we'll wish you the best of luck when we return then next week at Iowa. Congratulations on taking home 3rd tonight after a wild last lap, and we'll see you next week.
All right, thank you. See you guys.
Frank Chavez comes home 3rd here this afternoon, and Lucas, that is going to do it for us then here this afternoon. a wild scene to close out racing action tonight. But next week, it's a swing on out to, well, the good old-fashioned state of Iowa as we go racing in Newton for the first race of playoff season. And it's going to be quite the journey. 140 laps. That ain't a long race around the around Richmond's sister track.
Yeah, not at all. And then with Nashville and Pocono rounding out your top 16, we have 3 very different tracks and 3 races that I cannot wait for.
All of this and so much more yet to come here on Green Flag TV. But before we get to all of that, there's still more action still yet to be had here before we go racing once again. When we duke it out next, it's going to be for a absolute slugfest for the SRA Superspeed Blitz tomorrow night at Talladega Superspeedway. And of course, before that, the Daytona International Speedway will play host to the qualifying race for the McConey Setup Shop Daytona 24 for the VSCA Sports Car Championship. It's the roar before the 24. 2 hours and 40 minutes of racing action coming up tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. High Top Racing is back for more on Monday with the PSR out as well on Wednesday. And then, of course, the Zero Torque Racing League takes once again to the Iowa Speedway for the first race in the round of 16. If you want to find out more about who we are and what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflag.tv for all of your lead broadcasting needs. An absolutely stellar journey that we had this afternoon, and boy, this race is set to continue to kick off. The round of 16 is just around the corner. We'll see you all when we go racing next week in Iowa.